Okay, good morning. I'm going to call to order the KPPA Ad Hoc Regulations Committee meeting for November the 12th, and we're going to begin with an opening video teleconference statement.
This is a special called meeting of the Ad Hoc Regulations Committee of the Kentucky Public Pensions Authority. This meeting is being broadcast via video teleconference pursuant to Kentucky Revised Statute Section 61.826 and may be viewed by the public at the Kentucky Public Pensions Authority offices at 1260 Louisville Road, Frankfort, Kentucky. It is also being broadcast to the public via Facebook. If you are speaking and are not appearing by video, please identify yourself before talking. Please ensure that you are on camera when making or seconding a motion or casting a vote. In the event the video or audio broadcast is interrupted, we will attempt to reestablish a connection. If a connection cannot be reestablished within 30 minutes, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled to another date.
Thank you. Roll call, Sherry.
Hi, sir. Mr. Piercy,
Here.
Mr. Cheatham,
Here.
and Ms. Hampton.
Here.
Thank
Okay,
you.
any public comment?
No, sir, no public comment today.
Okay, our next item is the approval of minutes from our September 16th meeting, and I'll seek a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that motion is adopted. So our first administrative reg for discussion is 105 KAR 1160, and I have both Carol and Nathan listed.
Good morning, everyone. We've got a few regs for you to consider this morning. The first one is 105 KAR 1160, sick plans. And before I begin, I just wanted to kind of give an overall statement that should all of these proposed amendments be approved, that we intend to file these regulations by January 15th. We just filed the regulations that you approved in September. We just filed them on Friday, November 7th. Sick plan, and also all of these regulations would bring regulatory language into compliance with Kentucky Revised Statutes Chapter 13A, which governs administrative regulations. It's kind of strict regarding how you draft and where you cross your T's and dot your I's. So all of these amendments would bring them into compliance with KRS Chapter 13A. 1160 is regarding sick plans. It will expire in June of 2026. The amendments to this particular regulation clarifies retirement service credit for unused sick leave for members who began participating prior to January 1st, 2014. The amendments also establish a formula for using sick leave to calculate months of service for health insurance and updates statutory references and amends two forms that are incorporated by reference and brings them up to the current form that the agency now uses. Are there any questions about 160?
If any, looks like there aren't any. So I'll seek a motion for approval of 105 KAR 1160 regarding sick plans to send it to the full KPPA board.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And that motion is adopted. And the next one is 105 KAR 1170.
So 1170 is the membership form requirements. There are a lot of forms that are incorporated by reference into this regulation. So for the amendments, we've clarified when and how an employee who is working in a hazardous and non-hazardous positions with different employers can make an irrevocable choice to not participate in the non-hazardous system. We've clarified also how former employees who are not yet eligible for retirement can request a refund of their account. We've clarified or updated how members and fiduciaries can keep their contact information current with the agency. We've updated statutory references again, and we've amended 6 forms incorporated by reference to bring them up to current standards and what agency personnel use in order to implement these programs. Are there any questions on 170?
Like there are none, and I'll seek a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And that motion is adopted. Our next one is 105 KAR 1330 and 105 KAR 1261.
So these two regulations, this is kind of a package, is what I call it. 1330 has always been the purchase of service credit. But we also had 1260, which was a separate regulation just for purchase of out-of-state service credit. Practically speaking, and for efficiency's sake, we didn't see why we needed to have 2 regulations that address one subject, which is purchase of service credit. So the amendments to 330 actually consolidate the language from 260 into 330. So we have one regulation that deals with the purchase of service credit. 1261 is the repealer of 260. So if we're going to add the 260 language into 330, we need to repeal 260. So we just end up with one regulation. Other than that, the amendment removes definitions that are already contained in statutes and other regulations. It's always preferable to have definitions located in a single location so that the same definition applies to all the subject matter. We don't want to have any discrepancies in definitions. We've also updated statutory references as well as 3 forms out of the 8 forms that are incorporated by reference. And that is 330 and 261. Are there any questions about either or all of these regulations?
Yes.
Okay.
Carol, do we actually vote on the rescinding separately, or can we vote for everything at the same time?
That is a Robert's Rules question that I am unsure of, so I would have to defer to counsel to
You
advise.
can do it all in one.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other
Anything, Lyle?
questions?
Think so. Okay. I will seek a motion to approve 105 KAR 1330 and 105 KAR 1261, which repeals 1260.
Okay. I will make that motion. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? See none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that motion is adopted. The next one is 105 KAR 1380, dealing with minimum distribution.
So this regulation would expire in March of next year. And the amendments to this regulation add the new federal rule regarding distributions to a spouse who is 10 years younger or more than the member, pursuant to the Federal Secure Act of 2022. So we needed to bring this regulation up to speed. We've revised some of the definitions that are contained in this regulation, and we've updated the references to and the requirements of the United States Code of Federal Regulations, or CFRs. And that, I think that is all of the amendments that we made to 380. Are there any
What-
questions about this particular reg?
Like, no, so I'll seek a motion to approve 105 KAR 1380 pertaining to minimum distribution to send it on to the KPPA board.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion is adopted. Our next one is 105 KAR 1400, dealing with federal taxation limitation year.
And again, the amendments for this regulation were fairly technical. We've added definitions for annual benefit and annual addition at the request of staff. We've clarified that the plans include those from KRS and CERS. And we've updated statutory references to the US Code. Are there any questions about this, Rick?
Let's take a motion to approve 105 KAR 1400.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And that motion is adopted. Our last one that needs a vote is 105 KAR 1430, dealing with general compliance with federal tax laws.
And again, the amendments to this regulation are technical in nature. We've corrected and updated federal and statutory references, federal and state statutory references for clarification. It was pretty much a technical type amendments. Are there any questions about 430?
Take a motion to approve 105 KAR 1430 to send it on to the KPPA board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion is adopted. This last one is 105 KAR 1190, and it's just for information only.
That's right. The form that is associated with this regulation, which deals with quadros, qualified domestic relations orders, we changed the form so that it refers to the Office of the Attorney General, Department of Child Support Services, whereas it used to refer to the Cabinet for Health and Family Services Division of Child Support. So when the Child Support Division was reorganized and sent over to the Attorney General's office, we had not yet made changes to the form, so we did that. We've already filed it with the Legislative Research Commission, and it became effective on October 3rd. The technical amendment only to the form that is incorporated by reference. And I don't know if anyone's got any questions about that. We do know the Attorney General's office contacted Nathan and has requested that we make some additional changes to the regulation itself. They're supposed to send us proposed language. We haven't, well, I have not received that yet. I don't think Nathan has either. So you may see some additional changes to the regulation itself in the next few months, depending on what they send over to us.
Ms. Hampton has her hand raised.
Um, Keith, this is my second meeting, and it's very interesting to me that there have been this many regulatory changes. And for being 6 years old, or however, 5 years, or however old we are. And I'm just curious as to, is this the way these meetings always go, this long, this often? Or is this just a unique situation? My first two meetings having this many regulatory changes.
I think a lot of these are just legacy regs that are coming up on their due date to be reviewed. And then that last one is because by statute, the location of the child support office moved from the executive branch to the Attorney General's office. But I'll defer to anybody else that
So,
has info
so
on
how,
that.
I can
So-
help maybe a little, Mr.
I can,
Piercy.
yeah.
yeah,
Even though KPPA is a relatively new organization, the regulations have been in effect for a very long time when it was KRS. And when the statutes were created, the regulations that were in place beforehand were carried over. So purchase of service, was something that the KRS entities, which comprised of KERS, SPRS, and CERS, were allowed to do. So those regulations have been in effect for a very long time. And so some of them, the two of them that you saw on here, were going to expire in 2026. And so we have to refile them with the comptroller or the regulations office, or else they expire. And that's a good time for us to look at them. There were also additional changes that were needed. Anytime a change to a form is made because it's incorporated by reference, if that form is incorporated by reference, we have to look at the regs. So, but to answer your first part of the question is, you don't always see this many. And I was going to publicly thank my staff, Carol and Nathan, if I could take a second, Mr. Piercy, because they have been working really, really hard and looking at the ones that are going to be expiring, making sure that they are up to date and that they are filed. As you see, the ones in September were just filed in November. The ones that were approved by this committee were just filed in November. So there's a process afterward. There's public hearings that has to go before a committee at the Capitol. So these take a while to do, but we expect, and I think you're going to see on the update from Nathan, that we do not expect this many going forward, but every once in a while there is this many. And it's not just my staff that have been working on them. I know that Aaron's staff and Amy and communications, because with the forms. So we look at it, we see what changes, but we need to contact the entities, whether it's, healthcare, whether it's, communications, whether it's, benefits, to see their input on these regs as well.
okay. So if I remember from the last time, there is a evergreen on all the regulations. Is that right?
A few years ago, the legislature passed a statute, and it's part of KRS Chapter 13A, that regulations expire 7 years after their effective date unless the agency takes some action.
Okay.
And so that's
So every 7
we're-
years, we're going to be very busy. You all are going to be
Well,
very busy.
Well, we're working on trying to separate these out a little bit better and getting them grouped into a more manageable fashion, at least from the regulatory standpoint.
Yeah.
So, but no, these two large batches, hopefully even from my standpoint, these are the two last large batches that you'll have for a little while. But we did want to get these in certainly before they expire, and it's a good time, as Vicky mentioned, it's a good time to review the regs from a lot of different levels and make sure we have what we want, or to make those revisions. And we can revise at any time, but the 7-year deadline was coming up on all of these.
I think that sounds great. I had never watched one of these meetings, and it's very interesting. It's just kind of time management from my standpoint is how long it takes more time to read than it does to have the meeting.
Yes, I think we had 15 of our 45 regulations that were going to expire in 2026. And so that was the impetus for getting, because these are regulations that don't require a lot of changes. A lot of them are technical in nature, but they're regulations that our members rely on: service purchase credit, sick leave service, things like that we kind of need to keep in place, but we don't really need to change more often than every 7 years.
You have a public hearing every 7 years for these. Is that correct? Did I understand that right?
Well, if there are updates, if the regulation needs to be updated, we have to open the regulation, have a public hearing, public comment. If there are no changes, and we can certify that there are no changes and that the regulation remains in effect, then we don't have to have public comment.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Thank you for
but-
the explanations.
But the legislature has a tendency to amend our statutes more often than every 7 years. So we have to at
Okay.
least update them to reflect statutory changes.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else? And if not, Nathan, you're up to discuss upcoming regulations overview.
Well, I think we've covered that. We've been very busy the last 2 meetings. We'll probably need a meeting in probably before the March or April. I haven't seen the KPPA meeting schedule yet, but it won't be nearly as heavy as the last 2 meetings have been.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, folks, 21 minutes. No further business. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. And we'll see you at the KRS meeting tomorrow.
Thank you.